What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Arizona. We are back again with another video, and we're gonna be reacting to 3 horror stories today. The first one we have is an Airbnb horror story, and I go to Airbnb, so I just was trying to see like what's the horror story, what's finna be scary about this, you feel me? So let's go ahead and get right into the video. Before the video even starts, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And I just ate some noodles. So get you some noodles, get your favorite bag of chips, and get you some cranberry juice and drink on that. Clock it. Let's start.
I'm not the kind of person who chases chaos. I like schedules, clean bathrooms, defined plans.
Right.
But my husband Barry's a little looser with things.
I got a man
He'd pack a bag
talking
the morning of a flight,
Okay.
if I let him. But he's always been respectful of my needs for order. That's what made this whole trip feel like such a slap. We weren't flying cross-country or off-grid camping. Literally just a 3-hour drive out of the city. A little town built around a couple of lakes and creeks. The kind of place you forget existed until you scroll past some kind of aerial drone shot on social media and think to yourself, yeah, I could use a long weekend. So we did it the right way. Barry picked the destination. I booked the place. One of those Airbnbs that looked a little too perfect.
They in sync.
Bright
I like
white
that too.
Edison bulb lighting.
Pick the place. I paid for it.
It said it was walking distance to the river. Sounds good. I cross-checked the references, verified the host profile, and made sure the lockbox code had come through properly.
Right.
The booking confirmation said it had been recently cleaned and was fully reset for our arrival.
Okay.
That was the last phrase they used, reset, like we were loading into some digital hotel room and didn't remember the last guest. The drive-in was easy, mostly 2-lane roads and flat farmland broken up by little clusters of trees. There were actual cows out there. We stopped at this diner around 15 minutes from the house and had soup and grilled cheese, like we were retirees, just to buy ourselves time until the official check-in window had arrived.
I ain't had a grilled cheese in a minute.
Up in the neighborhood, it was a lot quieter than I expected it to be. No kids on bikes, nobody out mowing their lawn or washing their car. And the house itself sat at the far end of the cul-de-sac, boxed in by tall hedges and a rickety wooden fence in the backyard.
It looked like a pretty nice house.
The first thing that I noticed was the car. Not the one we drove in with, but the other one parked at the curb. Sleek, silver, clearly newer than anything else on that street.
Okay.
The hood was dusted over though, and pine needles were stuck to the windshield like nobody had even bothered to move it in days. I remember saying, "Do you think somebody's still here?" Barry just shrugged and got out to stretch. I didn't like that. I don't shrug things off like that either. I'd triple check a locked door before bed if I heard a single creak from the HVAC. I pulled up the app and clicked through the reservation.
I've been thinking that too.
Everything looked right. Dates, address, check-in instructions. I even had a backup email from the host with a note about the key being inside the lockbox. Still, I called customer service just to be sure, and after a brief hold, the woman on the line told me everything had been confirmed. The host had supposedly cleared the place out
Have
earlier
y'all
in the
seen
week.
this movie, Barbarian? But it's kind of reminding me of that.
Behind if they get picked up. Barry was already halfway to the porch by the time I hung up my phone. The lockbox clicked open without any kind of fight. Inside was a single brass key, old school, a little tarnished around the ridges. Barry held it up like he just won a prize and then slipped it into the knob. The front door creaked inward, revealing a tastefully decorated living room, neutral tones, abstract wall art, and one of those fake fireplaces with glowing logs. It looked like it was designed to look clean, without any kind of personality. And at first glance, it did look exactly like the pictures I saw before.
Okay.
Still,
that's kind of the idea of them
the
taking
air
pictures.
wasn't stale exactly, but it wasn't fresh either. Like somebody had opened up all the windows earlier in that day and then shut them again just before we arrived. Barry walked in,
how you even putting this together?
called out a friendly hello, like we were visiting old friends or something. Of course, there was no answer, just the gentle hum of a ceiling fan and the faint click of a wall clock. We brought in our bags and cooler, moving room from room. Kitchen, dining area, guest room, and bathroom. It all looked fine. I kept waiting for something to jump out though. clothes on the floor, dishes in the sink, a door that wouldn't open. But it was quiet. But there was just something about it, something gnawing at me. The staging felt far too perfect, like it had been reconstructed, not just cleaned. But I tried to shake the thought. Barry lugged the cooler into the kitchen while I wandered down the hallway. He called for me a minute later, voice sharp. Babe, you gotta see this. I came back and found him standing with the fridge door wide open. Inside, it wasn't empty, not even close. It was packed full.
Dang.
Milk, deli meat, a full vegetable crisper,
different.
Beer,
in
a wrapped
any
cheesecake
Airbnb,
on the top shelf.
In any Airbnb, there's nothing gonna be in the refrigerator. Unless they put a wine bottle in there or something to drink. But other than that, you ain't gonna have nothing fully furnished, fully stocked. Man, bye.
Everything was fresh.
Something off already.
I leaned in and checked the labels. Nothing was expired. Somebody had stocked this fridge within the last few days.
Look at her trying to be an investigator.
Said, though of course I knew it wasn't. Did you order groceries?
No.
I said.
This is like I order.
This isn't leftover from the guests. There's no way this stuff would still be good. I pulled out my phone and wrote to the backup Airbnb contact that I'd been given. The real-time guest liaison, or whatever they called themselves. I told them about the fridge. 15 minutes later, I got a reply and said, "Oh no, thanks for letting us know. It was an honest mistake. Owner must have left it by accident. Home is definitely vacant though. You're all clear to settle in. Enjoy your stay." No apology, just that vague, breezy dismissal. Barry then cracked open a soda from the fridge because
I don't know, something's weird.
And then went to get the bags from the car.
Okay, now I'm starting to see something.
I stayed behind and wandered to the bathroom. It was clean, like everything else. Queen bed made tight, suitcase stand folded in the corner, lamp on the nightstand.
Okay.
The adjoining bathroom was lit by one high frosted window and smelled faintly of lemon cleaner. That's when I noticed the medicine bottles on the back of the toilet.
I was trying to say something about that.
6 orange prescription containers lined up in a row. I stepped in and picked one up. Hydrocodone, 10 milligrams. But the name was smudged. The date was only a week old though. The others were similar: painkillers, anti-nausea, sleeping aids. Next to them sat a manila envelope thick with paperwork. I slid the top open and saw forms from a regional cancer center. Billing information, treatment plans, chemo schedules, home care notes, radiation prep.
Somebody living here.
I flipped through, my gut
Somebody's
tighter
in the
and
house.
tighter. These weren't old papers, they were active, ongoing. "Barry," I called out.
"Barry."
And that's when I heard him scream. It was short and panicked, not drawn out. A gut-level sound that ripped me away from the sink and then down the hall. I followed the sound to the master bedroom where Barry stood frozen just inside the doorway. I pushed past him and stopped cold. There was a body on the carpet. Male, adult, face down. The skin was gray-green and sloughing in places. The stench hit me like a wet rag.
Oh my, y'all need to call 911.
Phase of decomposition. Metallic, sour, unmistakable. His fingers were curled like claws, arms stretched downward towards the door.
That's scary. I wasn't expecting that.
His clothes were damp with old sweat and waste. The back of his shirt was soaked through and stained with a deep maroon, where he apparently had leaked out while lying there. One leg was twisted unnaturally beneath him, like it had just given out halfway through the crawl.
Call 911. What are we standing here for?
Barry backed out of the room gagging, and I just stood there.
Don't throw up. You need to call 911. Hurry up.
It was falling into place in my head. The full fridge, the medicine, the car out front. The Airbnb confirmation that the host had cleared out the week prior. He didn't leave, I said aloud, now numb. He was always still here. Barry didn't answer me. He was halfway in the hallway now, bent over and dry heaving. I stepped in carefully and skirted around the mess on the floor, checked the dresser. It was still full of clothes. Men's underwear, socks, folded t-shirts.
I'm guessing somebody like
his wallet was open next to a glass of water.
But they still texting on the thing.
I could see his license through the little plastic flap. Same last name as the booking. This was the host, the guy who'd supposedly cleaned the house before we got there.
Right.
Only he never finished. He died doing it. I turned and followed Barry back down the hall. He was already on the phone with the Airbnb again, pacing in the living room, trying to stay.
Why is you on the phone with the Airbnb people? You need to be calling 911, not 800-588-2300 Empire. You should not be calling them. You need to be calling 911.
Calm, but
hurry up.
Quickly unraveling with every single breath.
What are we even talking about?
Yeah, we just found a body. No, a body. It's in the house you said was clean and empty. No, this isn't like the fridge. This is a man's corpse literally rotting in the back bedroom.
Why is you calling him?
I stood in the middle of the kitchen and just stared at the counter, willing my thoughts to line up.
And what is she doing? Why you not calling the police?
The fridge, the prescriptions, the car. The fact that somebody approved our stay without ever even physically checking the property. The fact that we've been dismissed twice by customer service people who clearly didn't verify a fucking thing.
Talking to the customer service people.
There was no malice or conspiracy, just negligence.
It still reminds me of the Barbarian.
People hurt.
Experience
freaking air.
Journey customized to you. Explore.
The police showed up maybe 30 minutes later. 2 cruisers, no lights or sirens. The first officer to enter took one breath inside the master bedroom, then doubled back with a hand over his nose. They asked us to step outside, so we stood by our car in the gravel drive, while a paramedic team suited up to examine the body. I think Barry smoked 3 cigarettes in a row and didn't speak the whole time.
Yeah, I'm about to smoke a cigarette after seeing that. I'm sorry.
Staring at the unread messages piling up from the Airbnb rep, who suddenly had gone very quiet once the words police and dead body were mentioned to them. An older detective arrived not long after, lean and very deliberate, gray mustache and mirrored sunglasses. He spoke to me first. "Do you know the deceased, ma'am?" he asked me. "No," I said. "We were renting the place. He was supposed to be gone. The company told us the house had already been cleaned and the owner had vacated the property." He raised his eyebrow. "You ever been here before?"
No.
"No.
I don't even live here." Yes.
I hesitated. "I moved some papers in the bedroom. They looked like treatment forms for cancer." He made some kind of note, and I watched his team bring out the body in a zipped black bag.
They carrying the body out with one hand.
Barely resembling the man that we found face down on that carpet.
They strong then.
The smell didn't disappear. It seemed to hang over the driveway like smoke itself. A smell that would soak into our clothes, into our luggage, and into our memories.
Well, just throw everything.
Very next, and his answers seemed to be shorter than mine, or clipped. They asked us to give a formal statement at the station, but they could also tell that we were shaken up, so they offered to let us go after taking photos of our IDs and then verifying a reservation.
Right.
We left, and the detective said something strange before we did. We had no reports of this man missing, no wellness checks, nobody called. As far as anybody's concerned, he was still alive until you opened up that front door. I nodded.
Well, he's been laying there. So you gonna sit up here and tell me that, oh, we just came to this Airbnb and, oh, he's just dead because we just got here. He's apparently been sitting here for days and we just got here today. So somebody got his phone, somebody got his ID, somebody got something, because it's not us.
He probably had nobody left to check on him. We drove to the nearest Super 8, about 15 minutes outside of town.
Blame us, me and my husband.
Like disinfectant and vending machine coffee. Barry didn't say anything until we were lying in the stiff queen bed with the TV on mute and our shoes still on.
Barry to smoke 3 cigarettes.
What if we hadn't gone into that room? He asked. What if we just spent the weekend there, slept next door while he was rotting down the hall? I didn't answer because I already knew. The next morning, I got an email from the Airbnb apologizing for the inconvenience and assured me that the matter had been escalated to the safety response team. Our entire trip had been refunded. They even offered us a free future stay.
Thank you.
I deleted that email without saying anything in response, and then
deleted it for what?
Deleted the app.
Oh. Well, I can understand. I would be traumatized, actually. Why they gotta re-show the man? I don't want to see him. Alright, guys. So we are on our second animation. And it's a Snapchat horror story. Everybody use Snapchat, right? Pretty sure y'all do. Y'all like seeing the streets and stuff. Y'all like to embarrass y'all friends on there. We finna see what the real horror is in Snapchat. Let's go ahead and play.
The absolute best times of my life were back in college. Back when everything was new and seemed like the world was just wide open, waiting for me to take whatever I wanted from it. It was around 2010, and smartphones were everywhere, and social media just wasn't a distraction anymore. It was the way to stay in the loop, especially Snapchat. If you weren't on it, you were missing out. Parties, hookups, gossip, fights. Snapchat captured everything important that was happening around us, and it moved fast. At first, I'll admit I really wasn't all into it. I preferred face-to-face conversations, real interactions, but then, well, everybody was doing it. And if you weren't, you might as well have been invisible. Staying current on campus was only possible through these apps. That's how I met Bobby. I don't know why yet, but I was just drawn to her.
Bobby?
Maybe it was because she seemed like she had it all together. Or maybe it was the way she would laugh at the most ridiculous things in class. I started hanging out with her.
Do you ever think that your life as a parent feels like a juggling act? With Purdue Global, the juggling act?
At first, just casually. You know how it goes.
Those ads, bro.
Sitting near each other in lectures, then grabbing lunch, and eventually, we exchanged Snapchats. After that, everything just kind of escalated.
Okay, found him a little girlfriend, okay.
She was always there with a big group of friends or some guy. I never asked any questions, just stuck inside that friend zone, like it was my safety net. But something shifted, as I started thinking there might be more to this. One night, I worked up the nerve to ask her out. It wasn't a big deal, just something casual, you know? Drinks, maybe a movie afterward. But Bobby, man, she just gave me this weird look, like she was torn between laughing and feeling sorry for me. She told me she wasn't ready. She said she'd just gotten out of something and didn't have it in her to start anything new right now. I pretended like I was fine with it, like it didn't sting at all, and didn't let her see the disappointment on my face. I backed off after that, stopped attending all these parties, and didn't try as hard to sit next to her in class.
Listen, you do not have to become somebody else, a part of somebody else's life and lifestyle for them to want you. I did try to do that before, and you're gonna be so torn in between who am I away from you? You feel what I'm saying? So this is what he is experiencing right now. Like, now he's just trying to separate himself and, you know, trying to figure out, you know, what his lane, his path supposed to be.
It's not that I was really bitter or anything.
Like,
I just felt pointless after all that.
Okay, now
after
life
a few
don't
weeks,
feel too pointless.
I barely even saw Bobby at all. And when I did, she was
drugs,
a mess.
ain't it?
I mean, always looking hungover or worse. I couldn't figure out what was going on with her, but she'd been avoiding me too, so I didn't really feel like it was my place to ask. One day, though, she confronted me, caught me between classes, and told me that I'd been acting weird. Asked me why I wasn't coming around anymore.
You know why.
I told her it wasn't like that, I'd just been busy, and then she gave me this half smile. Like she didn't believe me, but didn't care enough to argue. We should hang out soon, she said. Then with this mischievous grin, she added, I got a surprise for you.
I'm good. I don't want nothing from you looking like that.
It definitely wasn't the same Bobby that I got to know, but curiosity had gotten the better of me. We linked up on Snapchat again, just like old times. She invited me to a party.
Bobby.
She sent me a snap right after we made plans. A mere shot of her in her underwear. Nothing too revealing, but enough to get my heart racing, my mind wondering where things were going.
Let me tell you something. Oh, dude, stop texting her. Stop talking to her. Now she trying to give you attention, right? And now she just trying to show her body and stuff to you, trying to give you a little, ooh, now you thinking what's next. And then he gonna try to come on to her again. She gonna be like, I ain't into that. He's gonna crash out on her because I would. Don't tease me. Don't do that.
Friday, when I went to go pick her up from her dorm, I knocked on the door, and I could already hear music playing inside. When Bobby opened up the door, she was in full pregame mode.
Pregame?
The room smelled like a mix of stale beer and something sweet, maybe from the vape that she had in her hand.
They're
she
like
greeted
a
me with
jewel.
this drunken smile and a sloppy hug. We sat in her room for a while, downed a couple of beers, and even did a shot of vodka.
Okay.
Bobby seemed to be on another level that night, way more wild than usual. I hope she wasn't gonna black.
Red flag number 1. She said she asked him, did he want to come to a party? A party's with a lot of people, or more than 2. This is not a party. What are we celebrating?
Out soon, but I wasn't so sure.
I'm sorry.
After a bit, I suggested we head out before it got too late. She agreed, though she was already wobbling when we got to my car. The drive wasn't that far, just a couple of miles to the party itself, but Bobby kept
they was pre-gaming before the party.
Swigs.
Okay.
Halfway
Drinking
there,
and
she popped
driving?
a pill, just out of nowhere.
She popping perks and stuff while driving, drinking and driving and stuff. Drop me off. I just Uber there. Matter of fact, I'm finna Uber myself back home. Thank you. It was nice meeting you. I hope you get home safe. Thank you.
I wanted to say something to tell her to slow down, but I didn't. And I should have. When we arrived and got to the house, it wasn't the usual crowd. Bobby had told me some of her work friends were throwing the party, and I definitely didn't recognize most of the people there. There were a few familiar faces from campus, but the rest seemed to be her
hanging out with drug
coworkers,
addicts.
restaurant people, by the sound of it.
They told her to try something and she never came back.
Loud, already drunk, and just super rowdy. I tried to make the best of it, grabbed a drink, and hung out in the corner.
You, just you, building your app
Sick of these ads.
on base 44.
Just watched Bobby spiral. She was out of control, stumbling around the house,
Take her
barely able
home.
to even string sentences together. At one point, she started calling me by some other guy's name. Her ex, I kind of figured. The more I tried to help her, the more she pushed me away, yelling and laughing like it was all some kind of big joke.
What did you want for real?
The party
you trying to
guests
set
didn't
me
really
up?
seem to mind. In fact, some of them seemed to enjoy watching her unravel. It was almost like a game to them, and I was the odd man out. I knew it was time to go, but getting Bobby to leave was a complete nightmare. She did not want to go.
Well, you stay
She
here.
did not want to leave that party, didn't want to be around me, and kept calling me by her ex's name. It took almost an hour of convincing, and finally I got her back into my car.
No.
Buckled her up in the passenger seat, and we were finally on our way.
I'm not waiting an
That's when
hour
things
for
went
you
from
to
bad
get
to
in the
worse.
car after I
The
asked you
second we
2-3
pulled out of the
times.
driveway, Bobby starts losing it. She was hitting me, not hard, but enough to throw me off. Her voice slurring as she screamed at me, asking me where we were going, demanding I take her back. I tried to stay calm, told her we're heading back to her dorm, but she was not listening. She kept yelling and hitting me, her fists connecting with my shoulder, my arm, and even the side of my head.
Okay. No.
Where are you taking me? She shrieked, her voice hitting a pitch that made my ears ring.
All those teeth back there.
Home, Bobby, I said through gritted teeth, trying to keep the car steady. Taking you home. Liar, she screamed. You're lying, just like him. I didn't even have time to ask her who she meant, because that's when she did the unthinkable. Out of nowhere, she lunges at the steering wheel, grabbing it with both hands and yanking it to the side. The car swerved violently, tires screeching as I fought to regain control. But it was no use. The car jerked one way, then the other before flipping over. I remember the sound of glass shattering, that sensation of weightlessness as the world just spun around me, and then nothing. When I came to, everything was blurry. I had blood in my eyes, on my hands, and I could hear voices in the distance. Muffled, but they were getting closer. I tried to move, but my whole body ached. Slowly, I turned my head and saw Bobby climbing out of the wreckage. She was still drunk, still incoherent, but somehow she was on her feet, staggering towards the flashing lights of the emergency vehicles, waving her arms and shouting.
I hope you finna help me.
He was drunk, she slurred, her voice a mix of desperation
Bruh.
and almost triumph. He crashed the car, and he hit me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My mind racing, trying to piece everything together, but all I could focus on was the fact that she was just flat out lying.
So I try to help you. She set me up.
Paramedics and
Set
police
me up,
officers
period.
reached the scene, and before I know it, I was being pulled from the car, hands gripping my arms as they checked me for injuries. But the way they looked at me, it was like I was the criminal.
I know, because
She
she's
says you were
lying.
driving under the influence, one of the officers said, his voice cold and distant, and that you assaulted her. I tried to speak and tell them what really happened, but the words wouldn't come out.
All
My
right.
mouth was dry, my head was spinning. All I could think about was, how is this happening?
You finna go to jail
For the
because you
next
ain't trying to
45
defend
minutes, I
yourself.
found myself trapped in a nightmare. Question after question. Accusation after accusation. Nobody believed me, and I guess why would they? Bobby was playing the victim perfectly. Still drunk, but convincing enough. It wasn't until
They
they
can't
searched
say
her
she
purse and found that bottle of pills that things slightly start to change.
Yeah.
Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they let me go.
Yeah.
The charges were dropped, and Bobby, well, I never saw her again after that. I blocked her on all social media, cut ties with anybody that knew her. My car was totaled. The insurance paid out, and it should have been the end of it. Just a bad memory that I could push away, right? But sometimes I still get that feeling like I'm not alone, like somebody's watching me through my phone. And every now and again, I'll get a Snapchat notification from a name that I don't recognize, and I never open it.
So I'm trying to relate this to like Snapchat. Like, I don't know, this story. Sorry. This story had a little bit of Snapchat stuff, but they was actually seeing each other in person. It really wasn't like I'm coming for you type story, but it was still a pretty decent story. I'm gonna give that one like a 7 out of 10. It could have been better. On to the next one. All right, y'all. So we are on the third animation, and as y'all know, Valentine's Day has just passed. So why not watch a Valentine's horror story? Let's see what these people been going through. And if you didn't get your girl no flowers, if you didn't get your man that new game on that PS5, on that Xbox, then this video is for you. Let's get into it. Story 1.
Last year on Valentine's Day, I'd planned this whole surprise for my wife, Sarah.
Okay.
I'd get home early, give
Sarah's a
her
lucky
flowers,
woman.
and we'd have dinner somewhere. But my tire blew out on Highway 47, with nothing but empty cornfields stretching out in every direction. I tried calling her, but my phone kept losing signal. I looked around and saw this weak yellow glow cutting through the darkness. I squinted to realize it was a tiny house standing alone in the middle of a cornfield, maybe a quarter mile off the road, and the yellow glow was actually its porch light.
Okay.
I didn't have much of a choice. It was past 9, freezing cold, and I hadn't seen another car in over an hour. I walked across the field toward the house. The corn was dead, with brittle stalks crunching under my feet. The closer I got, the more I could see that the house was old, with paint peeling and shutters hanging crooked. But there was music coming from inside, an old classic with too much saxophone. I knocked on the door, and a woman answered. She was wearing the...
Red flag number 1. I'm sorry. The house in the middle of a cornfield? No, ma'am. Number 2, look at the way she's looking. I'm going to have to turn around. I'm going to have to do a quick... Oh, sorry, wrong house. I don't know. We'll have to pray.
This beautiful red gown with her hair done up and makeup perfect, like she was going to some fancy party.
Okay, never mind.
Oh.
Well, she looked good.
She
then,
looked
all right.
surprised to see me.
Can I help you?
I'm so sorry to bother you,
I
ma'am.
don't like that.
My car broke
Smile.
down on the highway and my phone's not getting service. Would it be possible to use your phone? She smiled.
Of course. Come in, it's freezing out there.
I stepped inside and immediately felt like I'd interrupted something important. The house was decorated for Valentine's Day, with candles everywhere, roses and vases, and the romantic music playing from an old record player.
I don't like
A
that
man
music.
was sitting in an armchair in the living room. He was wearing a tuxedo, but it looked old and worn. He was staring at me with this expression I couldn't quite read, like he was annoyed that I'd interrupted his night.
Okay, I'm
The
sorry. You
woman
can get that
gestured
cool
down the
cat later,
hallway,
bye.
saying the phone was at the end. I kept thanking her while
I'm just
walking
playing.
behind her.
You can get it
Martha
later.
showed me to a room with a landline and told me to take my time. She left. Shortly after, I could hear the couple arguing. You always do this. Harold was getting louder. You always ruin our fun.
I'm not ruining anything. He'll be gone in 5 minutes, Harold.
This was supposed to be special. Just us. I called
Okay,
Sarah
hurry
and
up.
got her voicemail. I told her the car broke down on 47 and that I was okay, but really late. I hung up and turned to leave, but froze when I saw the warped shadow that had crept along the wall beside me. I looked over my shoulder to find the adjacent door standing half open, light spilling through the gap, casting a human outline across the plaster.
Bye.
I moved closer, heart pounding, and peeked inside. It was a bedroom, and a woman was sprawled on the bed, dressed in a red gown. It was the same one Martha had worn. She was face down, a knife buried between her shoulders. The blood had long since dried, rust brown and stiff against the sheets. My brain couldn't process it. You shouldn't have looked. A voice whispered in my ear. Terrified, I turned to find Harold inches away.
Ew.
You ruined it. His eyes looked dead. I wanted tonight to be special. My heartbeat
Okay, I'm
picked
gonna
up.
leave.
Without thinking, I bolted through the hallway, past Martha, who was still smiling in the living room, out the door and across the cornfield, while the dead stalks whipped my face. I got to my car, locked the doors, and sat there shaking. I tried calling
Put that car in
911,
neutral.
but had no service. Every other second, I kept glancing towards the house. Suddenly, a woman in red rose from the cornfield 20 feet away, standing and staring at me. I blinked, and she was gone. She appeared again. This time, she was closer than before, and she was smiling. I screamed, and she vanished. My eyes started watering as it kept happening. Every few seconds, she'd rise up, closer and closer, before disappearing. I sat in that car for 2 hours until the
Man.
highway patrol drove past. The officers asked if I was okay and said
No.
I looked like I'd seen a ghost. I told him there was a house in the field and that a man had killed his wife, that I'd seen her body. He looked at me like I was crazy, but radioed it in. More cops came and I took them to the house. We walked across the field with flashlights. The house was there, but it was dark now. The officer tried the handle, and it was unlocked. Inside, everything was covered in dust. They found Martha in the bedroom with a knife in her back. Harold was in the bathroom with an empty pill bottle on the floor. An officer asked me when I was there.
Okay, so
I
it
don't
was
know,
real.
2 hours ago? They were alive and talked to me. He touched my shoulder. Sir, based on decomposition, these folks have been dead for at least 24 hours. I couldn't speak. The officer took my statement and helped me reach home. The autopsy confirmed that the couple had been dead for over a day before I knocked. Harold killed Martha on the day before Valentine's Day, then took pills. They'd planned a romantic evening and he snapped, and somehow they were still trying to have it. I think about it constantly, about how angry Harold looked when I interrupted, and Martha's smile. I still close my eyes and see her rising from that cornfield over and over, staring at me. My wife thinks I had some kind of breakdown from stress, that I imagined it all, but I know what I saw. Some people love each other so much they can't leave, even after death. And some people hate each other so much, they're trapped together forever. I think Harold and Martha both.
Not gonna lie, that jump scare did kind of get me, but I did not jump. So you telling me he just walked up to this house and the ghost was talking to him? And it was just in there dead the whole time? Okay. I don't know, buddy. You might need to go get checked out. But ghosts, I believe they real now. I believe they are real. I believe they are real. I watch a little Sam McColby. I used to watch them real heavy. Real heavy. I believe them. I believe them. Anyways, guys. If you ain't already, hit that follow button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that follow button. Follow me on social media. Anyways, comment down your favorite animation in the description. And if nobody told you that they loved you today, Arizona does. And I hope y'all enjoyed this video. This is just a little something. I'm trying to get some new gameplay in the works, but we ain't gonna worry too much on that. Everything's gonna come how it's supposed to come. Like I said, I appreciate y'all for watching to the end of the video. Arizona out. Peace.